You've probably asked yourself, how does someone react to genocide? Like this.
With your babies, yeah.
Some of the militants used paragliders to cross into Israel. You can see one flying here.
The answer is they've been conditioned to, and it starts in their education system. Here are 3 examples of how Israel teaches the dehumanization of Palestinians.
أنا أقرأ اليهود
يعني إنهم بيعلمونا بالمدرسة إنهم إرهابيين
إنهم هدول مش منيح وهدول بقتلوا قاعدين بشبابنا. إذا بطعن بدعس عليهم. الدعس عمليات الدعس، عمليات الطعن والاشتباك المصالح في المخيمات.
إيش أكيد هدول العمليات بترفع الراس لفلسطين.
According to this Israeli professor's research, Israeli textbooks show Palestinians, or Arabs as they're called, as caricatures of primitive farmers, hordes of refugees, or they're masked and painted as terrorists.
You cannot find one photograph of a human being who is a Palestinian.
And it might explain how you end up with videos like this.
We need to kill Arabs.
The way they are represented are as the problems and threats. And since they never or hardly ever meet Palestinians face to face or speak to them, although they may live 50 to 100 meters from them, this is what they know.
The Palestinians took all the bodies they could. The only bodies we found were in the burned houses, and some of the bodies had no heads. Are these the people I supported? Are these the people that I wanted to help? These are people who want peace, prosperity, want a beautiful garden?
If you type map of Israel in Hebrew into Google, this is what you'll get. Notice how a lot of these maps have no clear markings showing the occupied West Bank, East Jerusalem, and the Gaza Strip, all of which are internationally recognized as illegally occupied Palestinian territories. You'll also find this map in Israeli textbooks. It's how you end up with illegal settlers colonizing more and more Palestinian land, claiming it's their God-given right.
What you say, it's belong to Israel.
And it's how you end up with scenes like this.
You have this necklace?
That's Palestine, yeah.
This is Israel.
הארץ שלנו. כל הארץ. כולל עזה.
Students in Israel are taught about the Holocaust starting in nursery school all the way to the 12th grade. Part of that learning is looking at horrifying images, or exercises that encourage students to put themselves in the shoes of the victims and relate to the experience. The identification of students with the victims isn't a coincidence. It's an intentional policy by the Israeli Ministry of Education. It's how you end up with a society where, according to one Israeli professor, every Jewish Israeli citizen is a Holocaust survivor or a potential victim of future Holocaust-like events.
The goal is traumatization and revenge, and not to let the fire of vengeance die out. However, this vengeance is not directed towards the German persecutors and their collaborators in Europe, but towards Palestinian colonized subjects who are Nazified.
Amin al-Husseini and Hitler thought alike. Adolf Eichmann explained him how the Nazis would solve the Jewish question. He knew what was going on with the Jews. They were rounded up and brought to the camps. He took an active part in the final solution. The Mufti was ready to plan the elimination of Jews in the Middle East.
يهود في كل مكان يجب أن نهجم على كل يهودي متواجد في الكرة الأرضية ذبحا وقتلا بإذن الله سبحانه وتعالى بكافة.
The fact that Palestinians had nothing to do with the Holocaust and that they are the ones currently being exterminated seems to be irrelevant. With this weaponization of the Holocaust, Zionism isn't seen for the settler colonial racist ideology that it is.
The principle of self-determination is a universal principle. It's basically the principle that has shaped the world. We can say that the 20th century begins when much of the world is divided between empires, and it ends when much of the world is divided between states.
And, when some people talk about Israel and its size, and I always say, look, if the Jews of the Ottoman Empire, just of the Ottoman Empire, would have received their fair share of the imperial lands of the empire, based on their proportion of the population, the Jewish state would have been multiple times the size that it is today, 5, 6 times.
But as the savior of the Jewish people. And it's this thinking and this fear that is weaponized to justify the violence of the Zionist state. That it must exist and do whatever is necessary to defend itself so that another Holocaust would never happen again. That's how you end up with videos like this.
It is a terrorist organization which murders Jews because they're Jews.
Once the Jewish people were defenseless, no longer.
So why does this matter? Israelis spent 12 years in this education system, teaching them to dehumanize Palestinians and see them as people looking to eliminate Jews, not an oppressed, colonized people looking for freedom.
Huh? When Palestine is free from river to sea, what happens to the Jews?
We're gonna die, it's gonna be better, we're gonna have a better life.
Can they stay?
They go from here. They won't be here when Palestine is free. They should leave the country.
And once they graduate, most Jewish Israelis will go straight to the military to do their 2 to 3 years of mandatory service, where they become the front lines of apartheid and occupation. That's how we end up with videos like this. So why do all this? Well, Israel can only exist as a Jewish state if it manages demographics to maintain a Jewish majority. And it does so by displacing, imprisoning, and murdering Palestinians routinely. And the only way to get Jews to participate in this is by convincing them that it's the only way for them to exist safely. Seeing Palestinians as people who want to live in peace and be free doesn't fit into that plan. Subscribe for more and support us on Patreon.